So to find the nodal equation for this circuit, essentially we're going to be using Kirchhoff's current law. And if we use this node here, so Kirchhoff's current law at node 1, then essentially we're saying that the current here, let's call that IS, is equal to I1 plus I2. So the sum of the currents entering equals the sum of the currents exiting this node. So IS equals I1 plus I2. That's essentially our starting point. Now, IS, the source current, is Vs divided by the total resistance. So we can say Vs divided by R total. And we can find R total because it looks like we have two resistors in series, so R2 and R3 are in series, and they're in parallel with R1. So we can say R total is R1 in parallel with R2 plus R3. So that will give you R1 times R2 plus R3 divided by R1 plus R2 R3. So that is our total resistance, and that goes straight into there. And now we can move on and find I1 and I2. So I1 is the current passing through R1, which is the potential V1 divided by R1. So I can simply say V1 divided by R1. And I2 is also V1 divided by R2 plus R3, because they're in series. Or we can say V1 minus V2 divided by R2. So let's do that. V1 minus V2. So that's the potential difference across R2. So it's V1 minus V2 divided by R2. So if I simplify that, we have Vs times R1 plus R2 plus R3 divided by R1 to R2 plus R3. So that's basically integrating our RT. Equals V1 over R1 plus V1 minus V2 over R2. Now, that's probably good enough for the nodal equation. I'm not solving the nodal equation, I'm simply writing the nodal equation. We can also add one additional equation to say that I2 is also V1 divided by R2 plus I3. So the current I2 is equal to the potential difference V1 divided by this total resistance of R2 plus R3. So let me write that. So I2 equals V1 over R2 plus R3, which is equal to V1 minus V2 over R2. So either of these, I guess, could have gone into here, because they're both equal to I2. So I guess that's all you need for the nodal equation. we could substitute and we could try to find to eliminate V2 by writing V2 in terms of V1. There's a little bit of maths we can do, but because we're not given any numbers and we're simply asked for the nodal equation, I would say that that is good enough.